My name's Allan Carswell. I'm here today at Clayline Studios, and we're going to throw something and tell you a little bit about our studio. I'm actually a geophysicist, which probably there's not a lot of us who own pottery places, but it helps. I originally got into pottery, not because I wanted to do pottery, but because my other hobby, my favorite hobby, which is woodworking, became unavailable to me for a while due to also using a lathe and injuring a shoulder. You get hit by a big piece of wood, it hurts. So I started throwing instead. And I found that many of the skills that I'd built up as a wood lathe person just transferred right across to this. And I actually started liking it. Those skills that I'd learned as a geophysicist really came in handy because geophysics is a mixture of math, physics, and chemistry. And one of the aspects of this business that I look after is the making of the glazes, which if you've ever tried to make a glaze or if you've tried to understand what a glaze is, it's high chemistry. It's not a simple process to do. It takes a lot of understanding and a lot of work to make them, particularly if you're making a new one. Once you've got one, it's like cooking. It's a recipe. Add a bucket of this, a bucket of that, a little bit of this, and away you go. But designing them, as I would call it, takes a lot of work. And having a physics, chemistry background has really helped. My preferred thing is throwing, obviously. I like throwing. I'm not really a very good hand builder. That's not my skill set. I don't particularly even consider myself an artist, to be that truthful. I do consider myself as a craftsman, more so than an artist. And to me that fits a wheel. A wheel, the first part you have to do is the craftsman, is can I make something, and using the correct skills to make it. So today we're just, we're pulling this up. This is called pulling up. It's the first step you kind of do long before you ever make it into something. We have to gain height with our piece, and that's just what we're doing now. We're just going to pull this up. And it's really the most fundamental piece of throwing is the more you're able to pull up, i.e. height, the more variety of pieces you can make. And it's always the same. It's always a cylinder straight up and down. That's what we're always making, regardless of the final form. We could make this into a bowl, a plate, a little big for a coffee cup, so we won't do a coffee cup here, but conceptually, it could be in anything. So with the wheel, it's very much a skill. The art part comes in a little bit later. What am I going to do with my creation? I like ceramics, partly for the reason of the flexibility to it. It's the only medium I know of where you have to do all parts. At least I have to do all parts. I have to make my canvas, as I'm doing here. This is the canvas. This is what I'm going to apply the color to, whereas if you're a painter, you go to the store and you buy your canvas in a frame. Here you make your canvas. Being the one who makes the glazes, I then go and make the colors and the textures I want to put on it. Rather than buying a tube of paint, I'm going to make my paint. And then you get to the artistic stage, which is what are you going to make it look like with those colors. So I enjoy that aspect where you're dealing with the flexibility of all those, which was why it really never gets boring, because you're only limited by what you can think of in terms of shape, size, textures. Do you want to make it very rustic? Do you want to make it look very modern? That's completely up to you once you've designed and built your form or your canvas. So in this case, we're just going to pull this up a bit more. This is actually reclaimed clay. So when we buy clay, you end up with a lot of wastage. And we reclaim that. So it goes through a process where we rehydrate it, we blend it, we sieve it, we actually put bleach in it, because you'd be surprised how much hair and skin ends up in a bag of reclaim, which is not pleasant. And then we reuse it. Otherwise, you'd end up throwing this out. And as we go through like about 30,000 pounds of clay here, about 8 to 10,000 pounds a year. So you can imagine the volume of reclaim we generate, somewhere around 60 pounds a week in reclaim, which is a lot of clay to just throw out in garbage. So this particular piece, we're almost pulled up now. We'll probably pull up one more time here. Just get it in a bit. And once we pull up this last time, we can head off and shape it however we want. So in this particular case, I think we'll do something a little bit different. We're going to pull it out into kind of a roundish vase, and then we're going to deform it. I would say my current phase, if you wish, is deforming stuff. But before you get there, you have to make it. And you have to kind of make it perfect, and then you get to deform it. I think another thing that I like about the wheel is that I think of it, and I tell my students, it's yoga for your hands. And in today's world where we're really overwhelmed by social media, where everything is now, today, right now, jump on it. Just like going to yoga and meditating and relaxing, this is kind of the same. If your mind is not here with you on the piece that you're making, it's not going to end well. You need to be here, you need to focus on what you're doing, and if your mind wanders off to what you're making for supper tonight or whatever, whether you're going out for a boat ride tomorrow, it will end badly, and end badly quite quickly. So I think for the modern world, actually ceramics or wheel work, if you wish, is actually really handy. So now we're going to start adding, we pulled it up, we're fairly happy with that. We're going to start adding a bit of shape to it. So first thing I'm going to do is get this neck a little bit smaller. The other part doesn't really faze me yet. We're going to just push this in a bit more. And again, you need to be very here. Sending your mind off to do something else at this point usually, like I said, ends very badly. And another nice thing is, it's really variable. You don't have to rush. If you're kind of feeling a bit off today, you can go a bit slower. Normally I would throw this quite a bit faster, but talking and throwing at the same time, again, you've split your attention a little bit. So you need to kind of focus a bit more. But we're coming along pretty good here. We've got this in. We're going to make it just so my hand fits inside. I'm going to pull that up one more time. Be careful of the top rim. You don't want to bend that irregular. Thin it down a little bit here. Okay, so whenever you're doing this, always make sure that your hand fits inside if you want to do something. Otherwise, all your design work went to heck if you can't put your hand back inside to bend it. And we do end up with a bit of water, so we got to take the extra water out. And as I said, this is reclaimed clay. It's largely a clay called M370. But because it's reclaimed, it's weak. It's a bit weak, and you have to be a little careful with the shape. Otherwise, it tends to become just a puddle on your wheel. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stick our hand inside. and bend this out a bit. So we'll just add a little pressure on the inside, and we should just pop this out on the side here. Really important to watch what you're doing here and kind of go slow. Don't ever get in a rush. It's looking pretty good. Sometimes when I'm making the bigger pieces, you'll actually find me sitting on the floor instead of sitting on the wheel, just to improve what I'm seeing in terms of the visibility. Get back in here now and make this a bit smaller. Again, that's about as small as I can go at this point. The hand's got to go back inside one more time here. Looking good. We won't go to the final shape quite yet. Well, as I said, this is my distorted era, so I like to bend these things into something different later on. But I do want this a little bit wider down here. And there we go, stage one. And we got the size we want it, we got the shape we want it. We're going to let it sit for probably about 15 minutes while I go do some other stuff. Let it just firm up a teeny little bit, and then we're going to bend the heck out of it. But that will be for another day. And again, thank you for dropping by. Follow the links below to find out more. And have a good day.